Hey, what is up, guys? Josh back here again with you today. And like I said before, I just recently did a movie review for Batman vs. Superman about a month ago. I just kind of mentioned that I was going to start doing kind of like some movie reviews on here as well, since movies are just kind of, or just film and everything like that in general, entertainment stuff in general is just kind of basically what I'm focusing on right now in terms of work and all that kind of stuff. So this review that I'm doing is for The Jungle Book. I just went and saw that today, directed by Jon Favreau, who also directed 2008's Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., obviously, as well as 2014's Chef, which I believe is the more recent feature film that he did. So this is his Disney adaptation, as this was a Disney movie for the adapting the animated film and story. So this was just kind of his movie that he adapted to live action to the big screen. It's getting really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I think the last time I looked at it, it was at 94% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I heard really good things about it, so I decided to check it out. Kind of my overall verdict of it is it was okay. It was enjoyable to watch. There was some good things in it that I liked, but there's a lot of things in it that I just felt didn't really live up to a lot of these really high expectations people had for it, and a lot of this praise that I'm hearing for it being this kind of like fantastic visual experience. While the visuals were really good, the VFX were very good on it. They were mostly, I mean, you can't really even describe this as a live action movie. It was just kind of more like the only live action things about the movie were the actor playing Mowgli, Neil Sethi, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, and some plants here and there, some things that he had to climb on, some water. Otherwise, it was pretty much an animated movie. So with the animals, you did have a really good, a great cast for the lending their voices for the animals. You had Idris Elba as Shere Khan, the really vicious tiger that I remember most from the 1967 Wolfgang Reitherman animated movie that I grew up watching. You had Idris Elba as Shere Khan. You had Bill Murray as Baloo, who was great as Baloo. You had Lupita Nyong'o as Aksha. No, it's Raksha. Excuse me, Raksha. You had Lupita Nyong'o as Raksha. You had Giancarlo Esposito, who was of Breaking Bad fame. You had also Christopher Walken as King Louie. You had Scarlett Johansson as Kaa, as the boa constrictor. King Louie being the orangutan in the cartoon. In this, he is Gigantopithecus, which was like a very huge, like 9 foot tall primate thousands of years ago. So I guess they decided to kind of bring an extinct species back to life. So all the cast did fine well enough. I think the standouts for me are really, though, the key players, the key animals in the movie. Idris Elba's Shere Khan, Bill Murray's Baloo, Christopher Walken's King Louie. There were other actors that just kind of seemed like they were sort of in the voice booth for a paycheck that afternoon. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how their performances kind of played off. It was just kind of like they were reciting their lines, which something I wasn't really too keen about. The visuals were great. The few of the cast members really stood out. Some of the things that really bothered me about the movie was the fact that after about 10 minutes or so, that sort of wow factor that the film was touting as kind of being like the next most innovative, VFX heavy movie since Avatar, kind of lost its shine for me after about 10 minutes of watching the movie. The first few opening sequences, I was like, wow, this looks really good, and then, like I said, a few scenes later, I'm just kind of like, okay, now that sort of initial wow factor is worn off. Now I'm just kind of watching this movie and these characters. That kind of bothered me, that I'm no longer, being impressed throughout the movie with this VFX heavy film that's supposed to kind of be a spectacle throughout, but it just kind of turns into just this big CGI kind of fest. The titular character Neil Sethi as Mowgli, he was fine. He was, he's a child actor. He acted like a child, like a lot of new child actors would act in a big budget movie. He was just kind of, some moments he was just full of energy, very infectious to watch, and then there were other times where he just kind of seemed like he was maybe a little bored, maybe a little confused, looking around to all the prop hands and the producers and everything like that were on set, and just everybody that was trying to cue him in as to where to look or what to do in certain situations, because a lot of this stuff was done by just like people in green screen morph suits and stuff that were just playing these animals for this young actor to kind of act along with. So there's some scenes like that. Where the whole movie is they kind of want you to feel, this suspension of belief, to have these animals that, for one thing, have a young boy who grows up without any human interaction except for his father's for a short while, and then he just kind of learns the English language, and with no other human interaction, he learns to speak the English language. And then these animals also verbalize the English language. They understand it, they can vocalize it, they can speak back and forth to Mowgli, and they want you to suspend your disbelief for that, but then they also want you to kind of believe that these animals could create their own religion. In the animal kingdom, where elephants are pretty much worshipped as the creators of life, the movers of trees, of earth, of water, that they are the creators. So I thought that was a little odd for like the animals, the whole animal kingdom to kind of follow this religion. It was strange injecting a religion into the movie like that, and then for these animals to have their own system of law, which, I mean, law of the jungle, you can kind of, that's fine, but to do that, and then for them to like be able to understand the English language and vocalize the English language and everything, and then not understand what fire is, and instead calling it man's, creation of this kind of powerful thing called the red flower, and it's like it's fire. If these animals can speak the English language and communicate with a human, then they should understand that there's not some mythical thing called the red flower, but that it is indeed fire. So those are just some things where I was just thinking, these are some kind of decisions that probably could have been done away with. Just keep it simple, keep it towards the fantastical roots of where the story began, instead of trying to put in these sort of things where you have a movie that's kind of torn going in two directions. One, it wants to be that sort of fantastical realization of the animated movie, which they took a lot of influence from, but then it wants to go this other way where they kind of want to bring it into this sort of gritty realism where, like Mowgli, he has damage inflicted on him from scuffles with like the wildlife, or just running through the trees and whatnot, and so you find this Mowgli who's all scratched up and bloodied and everything from all this stuff, but then they go into this sort of condensed version not long after with Baloo and Mowgli singing Bare Necessities. So then it kind of becomes this sort of thing like, okay, you're going two different directions here with the tone and the atmosphere of the movie. It would be appreciative if they would have been able to just kind of stick to one direction instead of trying to be two different things at once. But that's just my opinion. That's how I kind of felt about it as I was watching it. But otherwise, the movie was enjoyable. I did enjoy watching it. There's a few moments in it that made me smile. I just feel like you're just kind of, the movie just kind of left me with nothing but spectacle, which wore off really quick. The initial impact of that spectacle wore off really quick, and then I'm just kind of left with this story that is trying to go two ways at once. It's a very simple story, but like it's the tone that it's trying to move through, like I said, is just stretching both ways. It's really a story that we've seen many times before in many other types of movies like this, a coming of age type story, where someone is growing up and they're learning right from wrong, and eventually they sort of find their way to a compromise between right and wrong, and it's something that that I just noticed, and something that kind of took away from the movie a little bit. You know, I was hoping that it would be something as innovative and different and you know, endearing as everything's been leading me to believe. But you know, that's the internet and everything for you, so you can't always believe everything that's out there and what they're saying. But like I said, overall the movie's enjoyable. So for me, it's a B minus. It's still an enjoyable afternoon at the theater for sure, but it's really nothing that you know, we haven't seen before, unfortunately. But that's just my opinion. Everybody else is obviously thinking much different with the reviews coming out, as all the glowing reviews for the movie coming out. But you know, it's just another crowd-pleasing movie from Disney for sure, that's gonna have something in it for everyone to enjoy, but it's not going to take a whole lot of risks with much else. Anyway, guys, that's my review. So until next time, I'm trying to still figure out how I'm going to do these movie reviews for sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to call them yet or anything like that, but I'll get to that here soon for the next review. I suppose I'll just be doing movie reviews for a lot of the relevant current movies that are out in theaters, because I could just go back and watch any old movie and just come on here and review it, and it could be 2 years old and nobody's going to find it all that relevant at the time. So yeah, until next time, thank you for watching.